The ruthlessness of the day-to-day grind can also give you anxiety. The idea that even though it's Friday and you're off of work, oh my God, I'm going to have to go back there on Monday and I'm going to work 8 to 9 hours, whatever I have to do, including overtime, and then I'm going to do it again on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, and then on Friday again, and then I'm going to get a little break again. And during that break, I got a lot of shit to do, so it's not really a break. And that alone, as it accumulates over time, then you start to accumulate bills, and you start to accumulate responsibilities, social responsibilities, physical responsibilities, and the pressure of all that can freak you the fuck out, because it's a never-ending, just a line of ants that goes on for millions of miles. They're all tasks. Every ant that you see in front of you, every dot, just like a million pages is all things you have to do, things you have to read, and it never ends.
Yeah.
If you have a job, a regular job, especially, that's one of the reasons why you should never, if you can avoid it, never have a job. I mean, if you need to have a job, get a job, but if you could find something that you love to do, you don't have a job. Then what you are is a lucky fuck.
Yeah.
And then what you have is a cool gig. You know, like whether if you're a comedian or a chef or a carpenter or something you love. You know, a guy who builds motorcycles, he loves it. He goes to work.
Programmer.
Yes, anybody who loves doing what they're doing. That truly is the key to this life. And everybody's is going to be different. Your love is going to be different than my love. You can't really judge. You can't judge what people like, what they don't like. You can judge what you like and don't like, but, you know, it's like music tastes or tastes in food or anything. Things are weird. You know, things are weird and we vary wildly. But
I want to mention the idea that I've been thinking about of it's called a temporal peripheral vision. The temporal periphery. So like humans develop peripheral vision to deal with predators, so that it's something to our side. We can see a predator coming, and so we have this kind of like side view that helps us out. It's a very important thing. Some animals don't have that. They can only look straight forward.
Right.
But we have we can see off to the side a little bit, and that's a super important evolutionary trait. Well, we also have the exact same thing in the sense that, but it's a temporal peripheral vision, where we can think about the past and we can think about the future. And anxiety is always related to things that we're looking at in the temporal periphery. 9 times out of 10, if you come into the present moment, you won't feel anxious. You could be sitting in a doctor's office about to go get your CAT scan, and if you could really pull yourself just into the moment and what's happening there, you'd be 90% less afraid. Yeah. But the moment you step past that sliver of the present moment, that light beam, and into the darkness of the future, that's where the anxiety pounds your fucking ass, man. It's like touching an electric fence. It's because things are always fine. If you really look at it, things are always fine. Up until the zombie rips your intestines out of your stomach, things are generally pretty okay. You know, that's the real conundrum, and I think that's the thing that is so perplexing about it being a human being is, you know, that you're carrying around with you the ultimate treasure, which is the present moment, but you can't stay in it. You don't have the discipline to stay there fully. You're always wandering off into the future, always wandering off into what you have to do, what's coming tomorrow, what's coming in the next few minutes. You know what I mean? It's so curious that right there in front of us is the ultimate Xanax.
Which is where we always feel at our best. I always find that one of the reasons why I try to do a lot of things at once is because I like figuring things out, and I like when things get better. I like when a joke that I'm working on becomes better. I like when it grows and becomes real. I like when you write something down, then you add to it, and then it becomes better. I like getting better at a skill, like a martial art or a game. I love getting better at video games. It's a great feeling.
Yeah.
And if you're not getting better at things, if you don't have some sort of improvement and movement, if that's not the general trend that you find your life in, I find that I don't feel happy. I find that greatly affects my happiness. And I also find that's one of the most difficult things to achieve if and when you have a job that you don't enjoy. Because the majority of your time and focus during the day, they take all your best hours, man. You think about what a job is, a 9 to 5, they take the hours that you are the most awake, the most tuned in, the most aware, the most focused on the world. So if you want to figure out how to get out of your job, you got to take your weakest time. That's all they give you. They give you your time where you're the most tired and most likely to sit in front of the TV, and the most likely to just have a beer, the most likely to take a nap. They give you those times. And they say, all right, you want to get out of this fucking system? Here's your time.
Become mindful, and you will see that some percentage of you is focused on the task at hand. But then another part of you is always thinking, always processing, always a whole other conversations always going on in people's minds. It's an inevitability. You know, and some people have more focus than others, but in general, there's always that part of the mind that's like an electric wire in a puddle that's just sort of skipping around and spraying out random thoughts. Well, that's the part of your mind that chants. That's the part of your mind that you begin to train to start doing a mantra, which is like a simple mantra, so that thing, if you can, instead of it being like, oh man, what the fuck, God, I hope the CAT scan doesn't mean I have cancer. Jesus Christ, man, I wish my jizz was whiter. I fucking hate that song, or whatever your mind is stupidly spraying out. You start training that when you can to go, rom, and you let it. It's like throwing a dog a bone.
Why rom? Is it just a sound?
That's a mantra that people recommend. It's because it's got the om in it, but it also has this nice little R that you can.
If it's something that you really love, like StarCraft, you can fucking lock onto that shit for hours. You can tune in with 100% of your being for hours. That's not an attention deficit disorder. What you have is a love of StarCraft. What you have is you find the one thing that you just fucking really vibe on, and you chase after that vibe on. It sounded very 70s.
But no, it's true.
Manson family on everybody.
But I think that it's I would much rather, maybe this is an impossibility or fantasy, but I'd much rather have the ability to lock my attention onto anything I wanted to with the exact same level that gets locked onto things that I enjoy. You know, and also running. You know, when I go jogging, the first 30 minutes or 20 minutes aren't exactly a blast. Like, my mind's going everywhere. But then this thing will kick in where suddenly you're like, oh, this is fucking amazing. It feels so good. But to get there, you need to get through the first 30 minutes or however long of not enjoying it. Or fucking jiu-jitsu. When I was taking jiu-jitsu with Eddie Bravo, man, my mind was everywhere. And like, I know if I just had the ability to focus on that for a year, then that would have radically transformed my life. So that's why I say I wish that I could figure out a way to make my mind become immersed in anything that I wanted to instead of what it wanted to get immersed in.
You still can. And not only can you still do it, what you described is the very difficult aspects of things that you really enjoy. It's a subset or another aspect of how you find what you enjoy and make what you enjoy better. And that involves doing things that you don't enjoy at all. It involves work. It seems impossible. People have been doing it for years. You can do it. Just get up every morning at 8 o'clock, whenever the fuck the class is, and take it for 90 days. You will be a fucking yogi by the end of those 90 days.
Right.
That will be who you are.
Right.
But how many people ever actually do that? That's the discipline that life requires, and that's one of the lessons that you learn once you apply yourself to something. You learn how to develop your human potential, and one of the ways of developing is to force yourself into and through situations. But you still love the things that you love, like video games, like doing stand-up comedy, the things that don't require the discipline at all. You still pursue them and have this passion for them. It's just there's other stuff too that's not on the surface. You just have to work to get to it. To get good at jiu-jitsu fucking sucked when I first started doing it. But I knew that these guys were way better than me, and they weren't immortal. They were just people who practice more. Right. So in getting killed, I realized, if I just keep doing this, I can eventually do that to someone else.
Yeah.
And when I first started playing Quake, same thing. I was getting crushed. I would go online and spin around in circles, and dudes would shoot rockets into my face. It was a terrible feeling.
Yes.
And then I learned how to get really good at it because of that. And
I know. Yeah. Same with StarCraft, man.
Yeah.
Try starting that shit off, man. You will get your ass handed to you. I still do.
Damn, saw that. rest now. I'm happening. Run and find it. Smooth water. The path ahead. The path behind it. Smooth water. Happy, 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 happy.